A new show, a new journey, a new beginning for all of us here on the channel. For all of you new, hello, my name's Grizz. For all of you returning, thank you very much for coming back and giving us another shot on another series. We have run a poll recently to replace Neon Genesis Evangelion in our pre-2010 poll, basically. And the earliest, I guess, thing that ended up coming out from it was Serial Experiments Lain, which is what we'll be doing now, coming from 1998, which is a little bit after Evangelion, but was also like 10 years before like everything else I felt like was on that poll. I feel like a lot of that poll is actually like 2006 to 10, not as much like before then. So it's kind of nice to see something, especially from so long, being able to come out on top, I think is pretty sick. I am very excited for this. This is one of those, it wasn't actually recommended, I don't think, one time by anybody, but I threw it on the poll because I kind of was interested in it. And it worked out for that, which is honestly becoming a theme I'm feeling like with a decent amount of like the polls or just shows that I actually end up doing, where the ones that like when you guys recommend them don't maybe even do as well, say view wise, but then when I just pick things at random that I'm interested in, it seems like a lot of people are also interested in it, but even though nobody suggests them, it's a weird thing that we've kind of run into so far. But you know, I'm not mad regardless of what ends up happening there. So yeah, I am very happy though. I didn't really have anybody I was polling for on that poll, so it didn't really bother me regardless of what won. But I am excited actually that this is the series that won, because I kind of didn't want to do another very long series. Also because we have other long series and things that are going to like slowly be coming up at other points. So I'm kind of excited to have something that's only 13 episodes. I think that's pretty awesome. So we can kind of get through it, get moving into something else as well. I think it'll be nice. Now, the concern I have going into this, well, I guess I should start by saying I don't know anything about the series. The only thing I've seen is the main photo that I used in the thumbnails that we had, whatever the main cover photo on my anime list is for it. So those are the only things that I've seen of it. And I know literally nothing outside of that. So I'm kind of excited because of that. I love when I just literally don't know a thing about the series that I actually am watching. And I think that'll make things very interesting. Just from the name, it gets me like really concerned that we're going to have like these insane things that we're gonna do. Like my assumption is the main character, the girl that you see on the cover, her name's Lain, would be my guess. And my assumption is we have like some weird person who's like doing things and experimenting on her that's causing her to be like this superhuman almost, but maybe not, and they're just kind of like destroying and killing her or something, or they're testing and using her as like the test subject for something, would kind of be my assumption. But I don't know if that's the case, and also if it is, that does sound kind of messed up, and I'm a little nervous about what we might be getting into. So maybe I took it in a direction that it's not meant, but I guess we'll end up having to go in and see. So yeah, I know absolutely nothing about this at all, besides for the episode count and the things that I just stated. The version of this to watch, I was a little unsure of. There's a DVD version and there's a Blu-ray version, and I could not figure out what was the difference without like going too deep into it, and nobody like specifically said to watch a certain version of it. So I'm just gonna kind of make the assumption that it's okay to do either, and we're gonna be watching, I guess, the Blu-ray version of it right now. And then the version I'm also watching, I guess like a bunch of the versions don't have the OP or ED in them, and this version I'm watching stitch them into each of the episodes, so we'll be able to have those involved, which should be a good thing. Hopefully subs and everything are okay. This is honestly, I'm gonna probably be like halfway done with the series by the time you guys end up even seeing an episode. So if that ends up being the case and my timeline is correct on what I'm guessing here, we might only be able to switch for like half of the series if you guys think that the subs and everything we're using suck. But we'll just kind of go along with it and we'll see. It seems like they'll be fine from right now, but who knows. So yeah, no idea what to be expecting quality wise, animation wise, you know, just literally anything here. So I guess we'll just jump in and, and have to experience and figure it out. Thank you to everybody who did vote in the poll, though. Everybody who wanted us to win, congrats on that. And I'm excited to get on this journey If your show did not win, I'm sorry. Best of luck next time. And hopefully you can find something else that you want at another point. Or maybe you're happy. Maybe this wasn't your first option, but you still are interested in it. And that makes me happy, if so, that you'll stick around here for the journey. And I'm very excited to get into this. I don't think I have anything else I really want to say, so we're just going to have to get going with it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it all, hit the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments about this episode or this series. Let's get going with episode 1 of Serial Experiments, Lain.
Present day. Present time.
Oh no. Oh no. It's gonna be one of these, isn't it? I'm gonna be here for a long time talking about them, aren't I? Oh no. You guys can't give me a break. You can't pick a show that I don't go to yap for an hour afterwards and hurt my head in the process. Come on. And gutter in the TV, dude. These are real images, too. We're transporting her from the animation world to the real world. That's what this means. Banger of an OP, though, let me say. I will say, none of the visuals here give me an indication of what's going to occur here, or what this is. So we, like, froze the bird, and now that's happening. Are we going to be able to deal with some, like, time-stopping stuff? Supernatural things? Is that the episode title? That was freaky. Oh, no. That was freaky. I thought it was like a video game at first. The splatters. Well, you should do what? Alright, yeah, I mean, in general, I'd assume. in general, most of the things that you should do and the answers for why you should do things, you should probably figure out for yourself. Yeah, I agree. Oh, no. Oh, no, we're starting early. So much for a happy place. Well... They remain everywhere. Huh. Not everywhere, but a lot of the places. Okay. I'm with you on that. I don't necessarily think leaving the Earth itself is the, correct choice there, but I get it. Oh, even the shadow. Her eyes are different. The buzzing comes back. She's like, can you shut the fuck up? Okay, well, it depends on what the kind of prank it was, you know? Well, her eyes are the same here now. The girl who killed herself?
泣いてるの？だからヨモダチサからメールが来ちゃったからじゃないよ。
What does that mean?
B 組の子、先週渋谷で飛び降り自殺した。何人にもメールが来てるのよ。
So after she did?
その子、
Oh.
死んだ子からメールが来る。
Oh, I thought it was like prior to... Ooh. Okay, so that's... weird. Oh, I like highlighting her out of the glass like that. You see the hidden message? Or do you just need glasses? Even though you're in the front. Oh. The audio is really cool. Okay. I was gonna say, I wonder if those little cuts that we're seeing there are like emails that are being sent. But that one like essentially almost answered its own question, which makes me think like it wouldn't be. But I guess it could go each way. I don't know. Okay, we have a home. Normal life so far. Nobody seems to be here though. See if you got the mail. I was wondering what the fuck that was, but I guess that's not. Yeah. Like I should put on the little hat. I mean, we gotta get a mail from her, right? What are they saying? Didn't even know who this chick was, and now you're getting mail from her. How do you even respond to that? Oh, you did? But the spirit of me remains. I don't like that line. Oh. I mean, maybe it is, though. That's the first thing that somebody who's lying would say, right? Why did you die is an insane question. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, we have family.
Mama, 何？メールが来たの。先週自殺した子から。
No reaction to that? She did the right thing. She tried opening up to somebody, right? Oh. Little bear suit. It says she had a little like sticker of one on her pen. He works with computers. Ask him. What the fuck is this kind of setup, bro?
どうしたレイン。レインがこの部屋に入ってくるの珍しいね。
私のナビ新しいのに。
やっと興味が出てきたのかい？ちゃうだろ？もっといいマシンを使いなさいって。この世界はね、レイン。リアルワールドでもワイヤードでも人間はみんながつながって、それで社会が動いてる。
Yeah. He's creeping me out.
友達ができるんだよ。怖がることなんて全然ないんだ。そこら辺のところがなぜかママには理解できないんだな。
ないよ私。
でもどうして急にそんなことを言い出した？
Trying to get rid of the trace of the dead woman who's emailing me. I feel like he's probably the person you should say. Oh. Okay. I assumed it was get rid of the thing entirely. The tears of blood rain down on us. Excuse me? Excuse me? Okay, she probably just got off of it. I was thinking she like teleported for a second. She probably just got off, but she's so like fucking stuck right now. Oh no. Is she gonna snap back and still be on the train afterwards, but have the image almost as if the train itself hit her? Oh no, there's someone else. No, it might be. No, the other girl's gonna be on it, never mind. It's not her. Hmm.
岩倉さん。
Can't even see it. Oh no. She's seeing the hidden messages. I'll show you. I'll explain it all to you. Okay.
さちゃん。そこどこ？待ってよ。
Alright. You told me to show up and then I do and you disappear. What am I supposed to do with that? It's like we got her all in the computer systems. Lads, why does this always happen? Why do we always watch shows and then I get left in the discussion portion not knowing what the hell's going on? This happens too often, I feel like. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. it's really interesting. It's really fucking cool so far. I really enjoyed it. Do I know what's going on? No. Do I have some guesses? I guess. Do they probably have solid, reasons and stuff for them? Not really. But did I enjoy myself? Yeah, a lot. Really a lot. And a lot of it comes down to the atmosphere that they create. The pacing is so fucking raw. It's so slow. Like, it's so different, which is like a really fun thing about being so modernized with everything, the things that you watch nowadays and the way that everything's rapid in its pacing. A lot of stories don't take their time as much to develop or anything. We got something like this, everything's slow and dragged out. The characters, especially Lain, extremely spacey. A lot of the characters, the way that they communicate, dialogue being not really there, a lot of music in the backgrounds and stuff not really being there. Really weird. And it creates this atmosphere, creates something really special that gets you like on the edge of your seat, that gets you really like immersed in it, that gets you really like, oh, what the fuck is about to happen? Like, concerned for that, gets your heart racing a little bit. I was like, I mean, terrified's not the word, but I was like very nervous going into like, oh, what are we doing next? Which is, I can't say a feeling that I've necessarily felt for a little while now with a lot of the series that I watched. I mean, we even just came off of Evangelion, which is like fantastic, but I think more of it was just like a what the fuck, like mind trip of what's kind of going on at certain moments, whereas this made me actually like kind of nervous at a lot of moments of like, I don't know what they're just gonna pop up. Like, we had one moment, I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was when Lain was on her computer, if I'm remembering correct, the first time, and she was trying to initially opening it, and they were trying to like recognize if it was her, and I think like things kind of just slowed down and went dark for a second, and I thought like we're just gonna get this random jump scare or some shit that was gonna happen, like, and it left me wondering like, oh no, like what the fuck, where are we headed with this, And then the same things, like having to be in these scenarios, watching this one girl die, watching another situation where she has to watch as someone essentially gets hit by this train, and being all concerned of like what's going on in each of those moments and will that happen, and then just dropping a lot of lines that really gets you going, talking about God being here. I think one of my favorite lines was that like nobody knows right now, but by like soon enough or by the end or something, you'll all understand or something, which is like a direct reference towards the viewer themselves of like, you'll get it. You just got to give it some time. just wait till the end. But also everybody else around, where when things begin, you might have questions and not really be able to understand it, but give it some time and also just understand it. Try and see it from a different perspective for a little bit. And in due time, the answers themselves will show, which direct relation to the series itself, right? And what we're actually watching on screen, but can definitely be related to your own life and everything too, of the time that you kind of spend waiting, and things will show themselves over time, right? You might not have all the answers or anything that you need right away, but it kind of comes through all the clues and through all the things that you can kind of put together here and find your answers. Really cool line. But yeah, a lot of it, just the atmosphere that they create, how dull a lot of the series like feels so far, like all the backgrounds and the characters and everything. Nobody really stands out at any moments, but then you get these moments where you see these little blood splatters and things, and the splattering within the and different coloring and stuff that can kind of appear when you actually get the shadows of people. And then you had the little breakup moments with the short dialogues that we were getting that were very like trippy with what they were trying to do with the backgrounds and the multicolors and everything, which really broke up, the grayscale almost that we were going through the entirety of this. I think does a really good job at pacing and putting itself in here, which I really thought was excellent too. My general idea coming out of it, a lot of it comes down to, I think, things that we see almost within the OP. And I talked about the idea of like, it looks like Lain was kind of like trapped in a way within the TV itself or the monitor itself, right? And I was like, that's fucking weird, like are they doing things and they're like transporting her in there or something? But as we developed and as we got to the end here, even what started coming into my mind, referencing really to the real spacey scenes, I would say, where it looks like Lane's essentially daydreaming, or she's getting like kind of lost in time. She's looking at these things and she's struggling with her focus, and then her mind kind of wanders and drifts off elsewhere. And we see that again in the other situation where the train comes to the stop and everybody else is like, what the fuck was that? And she just immediately blanks out, and we end up seeing her being put in the space where she's the only one who's kind of stuck in time, essentially thinking about this thing that's happening, and then she gets to see these visions of the other stuff that's happening. Not saying it directly would be something like this, but the immediate idea becomes like, what if we are in that sort of scenario? What if we are in a situation where it's like that girl that we see at the beginning, and she talks about her soul and everything. Well, she doesn't actually mention it, but she talks about there is a way for her to still kind of be here. So essentially my idea would come down to like her soul or something finding a place to reside and rest within here, and can kind of still see things as like that third party, the one on the outside just observing everything, is if she's basically this camera, she's in like this virtual like kind of world, and she's able to witness everybody on the outside. And it almost feels like in these spacey kind of moments that we're having with Lain, where she kind of blacks out, we get to see her essentially vision or create these visions of this thing and the scenarios that possibly could have played out, or maybe actually did, while she in her actual state and her actual body is just kind of going with the everyday motions almost, which would be like a really weird fucking trippy thing that we can kind of go down. But also, I mean, it could just be like the general horror of the situations that are occurring before her while she's, you know, getting these messages essentially from this dead person and not knowing what's going on. So her mind's kind of fucked at this point. She's just thinking of like the possibilities now when something comes to a stop like this. What if we actually hit somebody? And her mind goes immediately to that, seeing somebody kind of give their lives in a way, while she has to like stand there and witness and end up watching it. I don't know. It's really weird. As I say with like all shows, I feel like where I get like lost, we just got to kind of go through it here. The OP song's fucking killer. And I don't think I get, like I said, outside of the little like monitor references, which do we even get that in the OP? I don't think. Oh yeah, we do. We get them like here. Outside of like these little moments, I don't necessarily feel like I gather too much or really understand too much of what's going on outside of that last like frame when she's walking away and she like looks up here, everything kind of goes gray. It's like she's looking from the bird's eye view, right? By taking over and seeing what the crow essentially is looking at, and her own hat and everything else stops in time, which is almost what we get, it feels like, in that scenario at the end where she's in the train and everything just kind of flashes real quick and stops, and it's like she's looking at these things from the outside as if she's taking control or taking the perspective of what somebody else kind of does, which can relate entirely to what we're dealing with here with email essentially, but related in a way to, I guess, modern day of what we have with social medias and stuff, right? With not actually being a part of that situation, not actually knowing the answer to any of the questions or any of these things, but taking a moment to stop in time and actually just observe and take in as much of this information that we can, viewing things from others' perspectives or seeing things through what other people kind of tell you and what you actually see from what other people say would post and do things. And in this scenario, she ends up seeing it through her own emails that she gets and kind of being forced into almost believing what these people are telling you while not actually having any proof or anything, but then seeming like the crazy one on your own end when everybody else maybe doesn't actually believe you, say her family and the others involved, but also maybe viewing the others that it's insane, you know, that this dead person would actually send you something, and then you kind of buy in and believe it. It's like these weird things that can definitely occur. We ended up seeing this girl, she tripping out like crazy. They get some insane lines. Why would you do that? Is something that you should figure out for yourself. Absolutely. Anything in life, I would say, if you want to figure out, you know, or if you wonder why you should do something, if you should do something, how you should do something, all of those kinds of things, a lot of the times are ways that you should actually figure these things out on your own. You should go out of your way and try and find your own answers for yourself, find your own answers for literally anything. Figure out what it is that you enjoy, figure out that what it is that you kind of want to do, and don't be altered and taken up by what other people kind of want. This girl, unfortunately, something happens and she goes a little too far. They don't need to stay in a place like this, which like gets you in that weird state of like wondering, like, yeah, I get that completely. And a lot of people end up forcing themselves or finding themselves in scenarios like this where they feel no longer a sense of belonging, where they feel no longer a need for them to kind of be here, where they feel almost that suffering and all that stuff that they're kind of going through within this place is only causing that. And the easiest escape or the best escape would be for them to take the same route that she does, which sure, but I mean, I would advocate more so that if we're gonna phrase it like this, maybe we shouldn't eliminate that or narrow it down to the earth as a whole, right? Being alive as a whole, and more so put that down to maybe I should alter the place that I'm living in, or maybe I should do something about that, or try and change my scenarios or change my circle of people that I'm kind of around, and just alter a bunch of other things around me. But we also don't know the struggles or the things that this girl has gone through either. So maybe she did exhaust as many options as she felt like she can until she gets into the situation. The splattering of like the blood and everything that's kind of around is insane. We leave the bag up here, which makes me concerned. Is that going to be something that we can latch onto and find and figure out and see later? But it's just scenes like this where we shadow everything and we create these splatters essentially. I don't know what we're seeing or how we're seeing or what that means and relates to, but I am interested. If you stay in a place like this, you might not be able to connect. Absolutely. I understand that completely though. Scenes like that, like that's insane. Like that's just crazy to look at. And even this with her own shadow that she creates and stuff having it within it. I don't know or understand the full symbolism kind of there. And her eyes really sussed me out here too, because they changed. It's not like this entirely, but I guess it actually don't even have an understanding for why that would be the case. The light coming in and being so white and so bright in a lot of these areas is crazy. It almost creates this gray feeling though instead, with it being so bright, without letting like the natural coloring or anything itself kind of come through, not seeing people for who they actually are outside of these sketches and not understanding this. We get a call or we get an email from somebody who's dead. We see Lain, we understand she struggles with people. She's not good with people. Even her own family doesn't seem to understand or doesn't seem to believe that she's good with people either. She understands she's not good with a lot of technology or these other things that are coming about. And you got to look at the time period and assume this is probably taking place, say, in this own fictional world or whatever that we're creating here at the same time, roughly, that it ended up coming out, which means a lot of people are still getting new and familiarized with the internet and a whole bunch of other things too. Her eyes are definitely scary to me, though. Like, there's just something about the way that they draw them. They just kind of creep me out. It's like she's looking right through me. Email specifically from a dead girl, which is insane. And this is when we start seeing she's having these visions. Things are going bad. I assumed at first this is just I need glasses and I can't see, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case. It might just be like when you look at something too much, like you stare into it and it starts blurring itself out. She's having that struggle. But then the biggest weirdness that I see is this, when she looks down at her own hand and she starts seeing this shit happen. I actually have no clue what to make out of this. It's like she's fucking steaming up here. It's like she is the computer, you know? Insane. What's it like when you die? It really hurts. Yeah, I fucking assume so. They also, the other girls inside the class mention and make complete note of it being a prank and somebody's doing it. And then some people are like, no, that can't be the case. And then even when Lain gets home and essentially talks to this person, they're like, that's not the case. But that's one of those situations where I can't just take that at face value. I gotta hold out, you know, the idea that somebody could be playing this insane prank on them and maybe has this complete like insane malice in their heart for everybody out there, and we could be going on a route where they're utilizing this to try and grow close to somebody like Lain, whoever bites that, you know, whoever takes the bait here and moves in while we are essentially pranking them, and they don't think it's just this harmless, like, let's fuck around and make jokes or anything, and they utilize it to do evil, to do bad things, whether it's committing crimes or causing self-harm in a way and convincing that upon somebody else in some sort of way. It does leave me concerned for, I guess, Lain, because she is the one who takes the bait here, where we're going to head a little bit in the future. And if that is the case, who exactly it would be. Now, we could entirely just play supernatural into all of this too, and just be like, that's actually not the case. And instead, she's like actually this like spirit that fucking got controlled by God in some sort of way, or is present in this way, and she has a way of existing online in this virtual kind of space without actually being this real person and communicating to her. Lain got some heavy drip. I fuck with it. She got like a bunch of bear shit. She got the nice little hat here. She puts on the outfit later. It's really cute. I like it. She's got the ancient technology here. She ends up entering in, and she has to end up having this conversation with her. But she wants to know, and she has to let her know, yeah, I've only given up my body. I'm still alive. And I wanted you to know that, so I sent you this email. Even though we're not close, even though we don't understand, but maybe she saw something within her, if this is the scenario, if this actually is the case where this is a real soul of a person essentially communicating with us here. We saw something special within that person. We saw something within her that we don't think is as corrupted possibly as others, that is as influenced possibly as others, that would cause this huge, like, I don't know, like we can get her maybe to do these things we want, but also allow her to fully comprehend and understand that. I don't know. She asked multiple times about why she died, but does not ever get an answer outside of God is here. And we don't know what that means. It weighing heavy on her mind, clearly. She has a weird family dynamic, of course. And I say weird, it's really not. Honestly, this is really fucking normal, I would say. A lot of the members maybe don't like completely associate or communicate extremely well together, don't really enjoy themselves when they're kind of together. Letting her mom know about the situation, and her mom just kind of shutting it down and not even shutting it down, but just ignoring her entirely. Like she has no interest, and she holds out some sort of resentment in general. We go to talk to her dad, mainly about upgrading or getting this different computer, I'm assuming, right? But I don't understand entirely maybe why she wants to, but her dad's kind of chalking it down to the idea that all of her friends have upgraded and done these things and starting to, and she's going to be left behind in the past. And especially coming from somebody who seems to be hyper obsessed with this type of stuff, this would be the proper person to go to in the situation, which would make plenty of sense to me. And I definitely can understand that. But I would assume that at this point, with somebody who has to deal with this, maybe you should probably go to him about what actually happened. But she might be even more reluctant now too, because of what happened with her mom, and her mom just kind of ignoring and shutting it down. People connect with others through these things online and just in general, which is why how societies and everything are functioned, which he says. And it's really interesting too, how he makes complete note of like, you can make friends and you can do all of this stuff online, and you are able to be put in that position, and you can be this. And there's no need for you to be afraid of that situation, as he looks at this wall of monitors, right? As he blocks and he puts up this wall essentially kind of between him, as he doesn't look her directly in the face, as he doesn't look her in the eye, as he's obsessed in looking at a whole bunch of these different characters and people and stuff online, whether it's him having conversations with them or reading things about them or reading things maybe that they posted or sent to him, whatever it is, seeing this and seeing these faceless, seeing these headless people who essentially don't exist. Right. And that's kind of ways that you can look at it, where he's almost obsessed and put himself in a scenario where he thinks that he can live. This is a problem that happens naturally with a lot of other people nowadays, especially because it became so easy with people essentially just being parasocial, but also at the same time struggling to connect and communicate with others in person and boxing themselves in and thinking that everything's okay and that they can just lock themselves in and all they need is their friends on the internet. These people who essentially like reinforce, the way that they feel as being proper and being correct and being in an okay spot, but likely not the case, because we as humans crave actual physical interaction and physical connection with others, that we can't get that exact same feeling online. And while it's a great stepping stone and it's a way for you to communicate with these other people, you also do have that security and you have that sense of like, I can immediately vanish from all these people if I need to. I can say anything and do anything online because it is that comfort of me being my own home, and I don't have to stress about ever seeing this person or dealing with them if it comes to a scenario in person either. And at the end of the day, if you don't actually know them, if you don't see them, if you can't make that real physical connection with them, you just see them as these headless people. They are these faceless beings online. And also you just have to trust and make the idea that everybody and everything is actually legit, that you're understanding or seeing and hearing from these people online, which puts us in the exact situation that we see Lain in, where it's like, is this a prank or is this not? Is she actually dealing with this soul of this person, which essentially is a faceless being at the end of the day? And even if that isn't the case, and it actually is like somebody pulling a prank and doing all these things, you're also dealing with that malicious person kind of over online that is also faceless at the end of the day, that you're not able to actually communicate with, that you're like properly and understand who they are, see them, and they're able to hide kind of behind this image of what they portray themselves almost to be, and nobody else actually knows, and it does harm and does negative things to plenty of others, and it keeps her just kind of confused and not understanding where she's at in general. He's completely overly obsessed with this, which is kind of crazy. She talks about there being a friend she wants to see. So I don't, I guess, fully understand that. I guess it's because she was told to go to somewhere, so maybe she felt in a way that she has to upgrade for that reason, but I don't really fully get that, but all right. But yeah, as he just hides himself basically behind here, never really making contact or anything with her, seeing her, as he kind of overly obsessed with this. It's like we hit something, or we derailed, or something happened. Everybody's like, what the fuck actually happened here? Did somebody get hit? And as they all just kind of sit there, she looks outwards and she ends up seeing what looks like to be blood. And I'm assuming this is on the wires, right? Which we could use like the poles, like the telephone poles and stuff like that, which we can use as a form of connection in a way. And you have these two posts and you have these things that kind of come in between them. I don't know how exactly all of that would be relevant and relate to itself, having this blood and this stuff on it, but it also could relate entirely to these spacey visions and these things that essentially Lain's finding herself seeing, where she kind of just flashes out and she doesn't fully understand or comprehend the things that she's actually seeing, and making up almost these illusions and images and stuff that she's finding. We end up meeting with this girl and we see her at a certain point. She just vanishes into nothing, which is insane. We go up here, we find her on the track, and Lain, somebody who we've kind of demonstrated is extremely slow to action, extremely slow to response and not understand things, through the conversation she had with her classmates and stuff before, is the first person who seems like she's moving and trying to take action and call out to others. I mean, we get multiple times where she says words but can't verbally say them herself. I mean, it kind of happens here. She just kind of watches it happen and it goes by and we vanish into nothing, and she wakes up just crying over this moment. But what exactly did she see? Why was she in the scenario? Is she actually just dreaming about this stuff happening? Is she daydreaming here? Is she just seeing these things? Or are these actual visions and things that are somehow being pumped into her in some sort of way? I don't know, but it leaves me extremely confused as she ends up looking at the board and finding this sort of hidden message or thing that it feels like she's kind of seeing within it, as we see the background essentially of what she was seeing on the screen when communicating with this person as the way that, or place that they need to go, and she actually needs to meet with her. As we end up going and walking, I actually love the shot of her just being deleted essentially from it. There's no like, let's fade her out or anything. It's like just in an instant, let's fucking remove that in the existence of it entirely. As we run into here and we end up seeing this girl ends up fading out now instead. And she's like, what the fuck is that? Why am I seeing you? You thought you were dead, but then you ended up going away. What does any of that mean? Insane. And then the ED is just weird because it's essentially just her locked away here, like trapped in between what I'm assuming is all these computers, or trapped within them, which I don't even know what to make of it. I think that's going to be enough for my rambling. I don't really have too much more to, I think I can make out or understand about it. If it was more obvious, my bad. If it wasn't, hopefully we can go on this journey together and explore the mysteries a little bit, dive a little bit deeper into it, understand some of the characters, some of the scenarios, some of the themes and things that are really being presented here. And I'm definitely excited for it. I liked it quite a bit. I really did. And it really made me feel uneasy, I guess, at certain points, which essentially I think was the part of the reason. You know, I think that was really intentional, and it was trying to make you feel that way. And there just was a level of rawness almost to everything that felt like it was presented here. The pacing and the timing of everything was so excellent, but just the rawness almost, it felt like, and a lot of the backgrounds and stuff not as entirely being there, almost this stripped back feeling that you got of everything, of the uncertainty of what is actually real, what isn't, blurring the lines likely between a lot of that sort of stuff, and leaving you really questioning and wondering things. I think is really fucking excellent, because that stuff in itself leaves you extremely like on edge, really wondering what you're getting yourself into, what exactly is happening, and then almost leaves you to a situation where you either trap yourself possibly in a situation where, like, say the dad here is, where it seems like he's kind of locking himself behind here, he's distancing himself from the family, no longer not being with them when they have like these meals and they're doing all this stuff, not actually communicating, not actually face to face having these moments and stuff with them. And we create essentially these false beliefs, like her dad does here, of, you know, what it actually is needed for each of these people, what exactly people kind of crave and desire and need, and all this other shit that, like, it leaves you with these false, like, hopes almost of things that don't actually exist, possibly, and maybe they do, but we don't know, and there's no way of confirmation or really confirming that as we go along. And it leaves you, like I said, really questioning what reality itself actually is, as he's dealing with this online shit that could entirely be real. I mean, it's the general thing that happens, that a lot of people probably know. You know, if you've ever, say, met up with somebody online, or if you've ever talked to just somebody in general online that maybe you don't actually know and you've never met, and your parent or somebody questioning it and being like, how do you know that's a real person? How do you know it's not just some, like, a dude when you're like 15 or something, say, and the dude's like 55 online trying to just like be creepy and meet up with you? You know what I mean? Like, how do you know any of that? And the thing is, all you have to do is take their word for it, or trick yourself in a way to actually believe these things, and it possibly struggles to find what is real and isn't there. And I don't know, we could just play into a lot of weird shit like that. And I mean, and maybe there's even a possibility where we play into like these curses and these things in a way where this person and God being real that we talk about is actually not a real person, or not a, like, being of what genuinely would be considered a God, right? But more so, is this person faking as if what they are, who they are, and convince this girl essentially that things are better and there is no place for her, and telling her essentially to go and jump off as she did. And then now that same exact person possibly faking this and posing it and trying to act like he is her, take on this persona or identity of somebody else, and utilizing that to get closer to other people in front of him, and using that and being like completely straight serial killer himself, right? And allowing all of that to transfer onto somebody like Lain now, because he gets somebody to actually, like, a target here, and they bite a little bit, which would be weird. Definitely, but I mean, I can see that happen, and that's how a lot of people end up operating sometimes cyberly, which isn't ideal. I don't really hope we go that way, because that'll be really creepy, but we'll end up seeing, I guess, a little bit what happens. I hope you guys did enjoy nearly as much as I have. I will be back very soon for episode 2. If you guys liked it all, though, hit the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to leave any comments with this episode or series. Check out the other videos in the channel. I will be back episode 2 very soon. I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.